and welcome to Big Muddy Mayhem. This is the podcast where we talk about true crime and bad behavior in the Midwest.
Each week we'll bring you 2 stories from the heartland that might break your heart, but we hope to entertain you along the way.
I'm Tracey Laricha.
And I'm Janet O'Brien.
Hi.
Hello.
Howdy.
I don't know why I have to say hello every time.
It's okay.
Apparently that's a thing now. So
Absolutely. It is.
So it's, it hasn't been exactly a week. It's been 3 days.
I know, right.
Yeah.
Right.
We had to do 2 recordings this week because somebody was out of the country. Possibly me.
But that's all right.
Yeah.
You came back with a great story. And again, thank you to Patrick for last week's story.
Kidding.
This was so fun.
That was such a good story.
Fun is not the word.
Fun is not the word, but
no, really interesting and enlightening. So,
yeah, I keep kind of going more down the rabbit hole with that one. And I'm like, okay, come on, back up. Let's go to the next story. But, that's fine. Whatever.
We might have a revisit.
Exactly. So we have 2 stories today.
We do have 2 stories today, and I believe that I am the one that goes first.
You are.
Also, we have put the dog out of the room.
Yes.
However, Cecil is still around here, so
Cecil has found
that. You're gracious. So if you hear any little clinking and clankings of collars in the background,
it's a silly black cat.
It's our silly cat. Yeah. Maybe we'll put maybe we need to put a picture of him up in the show notes. Hey, by the way, before we get started on the story, y'all, the thing that you could best help us with is comment on the YouTube, join our Facebook page, and be part of the conversation.
Yes.
We'll show you pictures of my cute cat.
Right. I mean, no one can resist a cute cat.
That's absolutely right. But, Janet, today my story is one that I have kind of had in the back of my mind ever since we started this podcast.
Okay.
And it is one of my very, very best favorite stories about St. Louis.
Oh.
And that is that I'm going to talk to you about Edward Gardner Lewis.
Edward Gardner Lewis. I don't think I've heard of him.
Okay. As we go along, you might, but he starts out in 1869. Born in 1869, he is the son of a minister, and he is born in Winston, Connecticut.
Okay.
He attends Trinity College in Hartford. We don't have a whole lot on his early life. So from there, he goes west, and by west I mean, like St. Louis. So he, he goes west. He comes back with big ideas.
Okay.
Goes back to school, and they called him the Great Western Liar.
Ooh, okay.
Have you ever known those people that spend 2 weeks in Vienna and they come back and all of a sudden they're
yes,
an expert on
they know everything.
Right.
Right.
So he comes back to Trinity College, and he doesn't graduate, but he does meet and marry a woman named Mabel Wellington in 1890. And this man, he goes into sales.
Okay.
He can sell anything.
Ooh, okay.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Watches, cigars, laxatives. And then, so he's selling cigars and tobacco.
Okay.
And when that doesn't work out, he starts selling a product that will help you quit smoking.
What are the other?
This is the thing that I think is so great. Okay, first of all, before I get into this, a friend of mine had a father that sold timeshares.
Right.
And then after he got out of selling timeshares, he sold a service that would help you get out of that.
That's fantastic.
So that's Edward Lewis.
No.
He is just kind of, like ice to an Eskimo.
Right.
Whatever you can do. He sells something called anti-skeet, which is a bug repellent.
Okay.
It is basically just chalk with wintergreen oil in it. But bugs don't like wintergreen.
Okay.
So he would go into a shop and he would like take a bug either from the shop owner or like one that he brought himself. Brown bag bug, you know. And he would put a little bit of this anti-skeet and put the bug in the middle of it, and the bug would keel over.
Wow.
And then the business owner would be like, that's fantastic. You know,
Yeah,
please take my money and run. He would put the bug back into his pocket, and after 15 minutes, the wintergreen would wear off and the bug would be totally fine, and they could just take it back to the next shop.
Wow.
So this is somebody that knows how to kind of appeal to people.
Right.
The entire story of Edward Lewis, people are kind of like divided on whether or not he was a con or whether or not he was a visionary.
Right.
But I think it's both.
Probably both.
1896.
Okay.
This is when he and Mabel moved to St. Louis.
Okay.
He has got big ideas. He's going west. It is nothing but cowtown out here in University City where he settles. It's going to be the best city. He's going to build it himself. He is going to be the mayor.
Wow.
So this is what he envisions for himself.
Okay.
Like, he is the king of the vision board. He buys a failing paper that is ironically called The Winner.
Sorry.
Just like the song, right? And he calls it the Women's Magazine. Mm-hmm. He is going to kind of cater to women.
Okay.
Who knew that we read? So it's short romance stories. It is fashion.
Oh.
These are people that are kind of out in the middle of the country, and so they want to know what's going on in the big city, like St. Louis. They want to know like household hints.
Oh, okay.
And he also does kind of pepper in some weightier issues. Mabel, his wife, is very educated in her own right.
Okay.
And they are, from everything that I've been able to read, a true love match.
Nice.
And also fair and equal partners.
Okay, great.
Like there is mutual respect and appreciation between the two of them.
Nice.
So this works out pretty well to the tune of 1.6 million subscriptions.
Wow.
To this magazine. Now is where Janet and I would like to tell you that if you have not yet subscribed to our podcast,
we would love to have that many subscribers.
So Lewis is, again, like he is kind of small in stature. He is a short king. And so I'm going to show you a picture of him. Yeah. But still, like, no,
he looks
easy
nice.
on the eyes.
Yeah, he's got a suit and a tie and a nice white shirt and his
Peter
hair
Pan
is part
color.
of yeah, he just looks like a normal dude. Very nice looking guy. Very much so.
Nice looking guy. He also used to wear a bowler hat that was like a little bit taller than he was to kind of make him
a little taller.
I'm 5'4", but I'm 5'8" in this hat.
Right.
He is also charming, and most specifically, he is a great speaker.
Nice.
He is also, like, a pretty good dude and a pretty good husband, it seems like. And he is also in the right place at the right time, and he has a finger on the pulse. Like, he kind of knows how things are going to go. So it's 1902.
Okay.
The magazine is going to need more space. Winter magazine, that is now, the women's magazine, is going to need more space. He buys 85 acres in what is kind of country town along Delmar Avenue.
Okay.
And this is a pretty good move.
Yeah, absolutely.
Janet.
Yes, Tracey.
You're buying 85 acres in University City along Del Mar in 1902.
Wow.
What might be happening soon?
Oh, a certain World's Fair possibly in
Ding,
Forest
ding,
Park?
ding, 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 ding. Yes, the World's Fair. So it's 100 years since the Louisiana Purchase. He is going to build the magazine headquarters. It is this beautiful, this man's aesthetics were amazing. He builds this octagonal building. You might recognize it. Don't spoil the surprise.
Oh, wow. No way.
So he builds this.
Wow.
And that is going to be where he puts his printing press and all of that. And then also he has all of this space kind of alongside of it in 1902 in advance of the World's Fair. The artwork, the murals, the sculpture, everything inside of the building that he builds that is going to be his headquarters are all to glorify women.
Wow.
It's always it's a woman holding a torch. It's,
Wow.
He is early adopter feminist.
Nice.
As the World Fair happens, as you correctly guessed, he uses all of this undeveloped land that he owns to create something called Camp Lewis.
Okay.
So, the 1904 World's Fair. If you're from St. Louis, you've already heard about it because we can't shut up about
Exactly. Can't. Won't.
But if you're outside of the area, it is, again, 100 years since the Louisiana Purchase. And it is the big thing of the day. People literally move here.
Yeah.
Build houses here.
Yep.
To be here. Because it's going to go on for a year. And this is the hottest ticket in town.
Isn't Meet Me in St. Louis during that
Basically,
time? Yes.
yeah. Based
so
around
if you've
that.
seen that movie, that.
So, not everyone, though, can afford to move into town and have a house built alongside beautiful Forest Park.
No, they cannot.
So Camp Lewis is literally a place that has kind of, broadsheet canvas tents. They have 50-cent lunches. They have 75-cent showers or dinners and then shower spaces.
So this is a place where people who are coming in town have a place to go.
Completely. Yes, if you don't happen to be,
independently wealthy.
Then, but you're still wanting to come to the show, then this is where you go. So people without means can be a part of the action. Camp Lewis does kind of operate at a bit of a loss. However, Lewis is only 35 when this happens.
Oh, okay.
And he also, though, has so much foresight. He's a man of gestures. So he's built this big building out in U City.
Right.
And at the top of it, he's put a searchlight. It is, I think, the largest searchlight in the world.
Wow.
At that time. It sweeps the area. It lights up all of Camp Lewis. It can be seen, and if you are familiar with the area, from University City.
Wow.
It can be seen all the way over to Forest Park.
No way.
People on the fairgrounds are like, what's going on over on that side?
Right, exactly.
Right? He also puts a contest in the paper to guess how many people would attend the fair. Aside from being hard to count for that, it's also maybe illegal because that might be gambling.
Right.
Lewis, though, as always, he has a bigger picture. He is using it to kind of promote the magazine and the land that he's just bought. It's fine. Anybody talking, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
Right.
Anybody talking is talking about his plans, and he has plans for that land. So, he is building the city that he has always wanted. Mm-hmm. He takes all of that property and he makes a neighborhood called University Heights.
Okay.
All of the streets are named for colleges and universities.
Oh my God.
And in that neighborhood now.
Washington.
Amherst.
Yep.
Yep. Just all of the streets are named for colleges and universities. Edward and Mabel also moved there. They live there too. They call it University Heights because it's named for Washington University, which does predate the city. 1906, University City is founded as an actual municipality.
Wow.
Edward Lewis is the first mayor.
Of course he is. That's what he predicted.
I mean, he manifested that.
Wow.
He has a vision. He wants a city that is founded on the arts, education, culture, gender equality.
Wow.
He calls it the Athens of the U.S.
Wow.
He has visions of a people's university. Buildings are designed. And some of them, they mimic Egyptian relics. They mimic the Parthenon. They mimic the Taj Mahal.
Wow.
He wants to kind of just create the city that is based on all of the great cities that have come before. The models still exist to this day. And if you go to the original octagonal building, they're still there, free and open for you to go in.
That is awesome.
See them. And that is, I was going to save this, but I'm going to tell you now. So his original building is now the City Hall for University City.
Okay.
My very favorite thing about that building is that when you go and, the sign on the front of the building says, City of University City, City Hall. And if that's not government, I don't know what is. So a few other things kind of happen around this time. Lewis, he's doing all of these different things. He's got big ideas, but he starts a bank. He is doing deposits by mail.
Okay.
This kind of gets him into trouble with the USPS. He's cutting their lunch, basically. He's taking, he's accused of fraud because of money that is sent through the mail. He has this paper, right, that is sent through rural free delivery. But you're not allowed to send money that way. So he's accused of fraud. He loses subscribers, but he does beat the charges. Not convicted.
Okay.
Now, right around then is when he adds, if you are familiar with University City.
I am.
Then he adds the Lions Gates.
Oh, wow. Okay.
To University City, which are kind of right at the start
of
the neighborhood. Something fun about those, like the Lions Gates at University City, they are in Back to the Future.
Oh, yes, they are. They totally are, because the neighborhood. Yep.
Ding, ding, ding. Yep. Right, and because the Bob Gale, who wrote Back to the Future, is from U City.
He had to put them in. Oh, my God.
He put them in as kind of like a little Easter egg to his hometown.
Nice. Now that's something I did not know.
Also, something I didn't notice until I knew about this was that they're not two lions. They are a lion and a lioness. Again,
wow.
Lewis is all about
equality kind of thing.
Right. So he turns the women's magazine into the American Women's League.
Wow.
At this point in time. So now it's not only the magazine, but he's got the subscribers out there selling magazines. This is essentially like the first Avon, the first Mary Kay.
Right.
You sell subscriptions, and you can get something out of this. By doing so, they can join the American Women's League. And once you're a member of the American Women's League, you can take the classes that he offers by mail.
Okay.
From the People's University.
Oh my God.
And, you can, if you are very, very talented, perhaps be sent here on scholarship to the People's University. It is a big screw you, USPS.
Right.
Right? So, the American Women's League is what he starts now, and their motto is, keep your face to the sunshine, and you cannot see the shadows.
Wow. Okay.
A little bit of toxic positivity there. But you know what? Still, not the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
All over the place, members come out of the woodwork. They all convene in University City they have over 1,000 people in 1910. They have their first convention of all of the people that are members of the American Women's League. And another thing that they do is they form these chapter houses.
Okay.
So the money that the AWL makes, they use it to kind of buy small properties in these small towns all throughout the country.
Wow.
And the members of the league can meet there, and they can talk about books, and they can talk about ideas, and they can maybe get politicians and local people in so that they can ask questions.
Wow.
And his reasoning for this is that he thinks that women are going to receive the vote, and that women need to be able to have an opportunity to ask questions and be educated about politics before this happens. So they are this is some blue stocking stuff, He is continuing to work on the People's University. He is also hiring, like I said, artists to teach. He's bringing people in on scholarship. He and Mabel, for whatever reason, are especially interested in pottery. I don't know why that's the case, but there are still some of their pieces on display at the St. Louis Art Museum.
Wow.
He's back in court. The AWL ends up folding again due to charges with mail fraud, competition, and then maybe also some theft from some of the people in his downstream.
Oops.
1912, he's in trouble. He's kind of also, he's done a bunch of things. He's got the bank, he's got the college, he's got, the university, he's got the printing press. All of the money is kind of all gone into one big slush fund.
Oh, no.
So he is basically broke.
Oh, my.
And pretty much flies by night.
I see.
So, boof. On a train.
Oh, no.
Out of town.
Just gone?
Just gone.
Wow.
But he goes west again. Back when all you had to do to escape trouble was just leave.
Right.
He rebrands the American Women's League as the American Women's Republic.
Okay.
Same idea, but now they're really focused on voting rights.
Okay. Right.
So they have a focus. Mabel is now the head of it. She's like, I'm...
Yeah.
You get in the back, I'll drive. He says in a speech, once he gets out to California, and this is a long quote.
Okay.
Ladies, some 4.5 years ago, a great crisis came into my life. Our institutions have been rich, prosperous, and successful, almost beyond the dreams of avarice. In a second, they were struck down. As I sat in the midst of this ruin and despair, a blackness of night began to settle over my soul. I said, "Is this worth the price?" And then came the voice that has come forth to every man since the beginning of the world, which has made him do everything that is worth doing. It came by messages, it came by express, it came in every way. Fight And we fought, and out of ruin has come this wonderful, beautiful, magnificent organization which is spreading through this land like lightning.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, so he has $500 to his name when he goes to Atascadero, California, but he finds a little dirt poor patch of land. He buys it. He builds an entirely new city.
Oh my gosh.
Called Atascadero, California. You can see that the building is very similar.
It looks very similar. Very similar.
And he becomes the mayor. So, more issues with the law. In 1928, somebody accuses him of fraud. He goes to jail for 5 years.
Oh, no.
While he is there, he makes an entire model of the prison and the buildings that should be around it. That kind of befriends him to the jailer.
Of course.
And so he's given some perks after that. He serves his 5 years. He gets out. I don't really think that there's anything more that he does politically after that. In 1950, Edward Gardner Lewis dies of old age.
Oh, wow.
To this day, there is a Highway 41 in Atascadero, California, that is called the E.G. Lewis Highway.
Wow.
The only remaining building of the People's University is now called Lewis Center, and it is owned by WashU.
Wow.
And still stands today. His publication building is now University City Hall.
Oh, wow.
Or is still University City Hall.
City Hall.
University City is still a bastion of education and of the arts to this day.
Nice.
And here's the part where I'm going to get all choked up because you know me, I am a cold, dead-hearted bitch. But I love my hometown.
Yes, you do.
Really so when he first was putting together University City, the city of hope from his...
Right.
Not the richest, not the most powerful, but the most beautiful city. And if you will help me build it, I don't care for anything else in life. For we will have done something together that will outlive the ages.
Wow.
And U City was kind of the first kind of cultural pocket that I found.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you're crying too. This is why we don't do video. But no, it's, man... I was just saying earlier today to a friend of ours that the thing that I love best about St. Louis is that if you have a curiosity, you can have a cultural education.
Yes.
You don't have to be well educated.
No.
You don't have to come from means.
Nope.
You don't have to have anything but curiosity.
Right.
Theater and art and education are readily available here, and man, that is what I find so beautiful about our city.
Yes.
So that's the story of Edward Gardner Lewis.
That is amazing.
Sorry to make you cry.
Yeah. No.
Oh, my sources. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So, sources. There is a really beautiful YouTube video called Keep Your Face to the Sunshine, The Life of a Visionary, that was put forth by the City of University City and the Committee for Access and Local Organization Planning, Calop, C-A-L-O-P, also the ever-present Wikipedia.
Right.
Savor St. Louis, which is the tour company that I work with that does food tours. City Hall is one of the places that I have taken folks to when I've been on a UCity tour, ucitymo.org. And then finally, a very excellent book that talks a little bit about Edward Lewis, but that has a lot of other good stuff called St. Louis Crimes and Mysteries by David Linzee.
Wow. That was great. I loved that.
Thank you.
I have not heard of him before. I absolutely know UCity, though, but I didn't know all of that.
Have you ever had a chance to go into that building?
No, I have not.
It is beautiful, it is free, and it is open to the public.
Nice.
So,
okay. That will be posted.
Go.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, normally you would just stumble upon it when you have to go, like, pay, like a tax bill or a parking ticket, but it is gorgeous.
That is an amazing story. Yay!
Thank you.
So I have a story.
You do?
I was trying to find something interesting. It is interesting. Have you heard of Sam Sheppard?
Playwright?
No.
No?
Nope. Okay. So Sam Sheppard, I'm going to tell you some things about him, and we'll go from there. Samuel Holmes Sheppard. He was born December 29th of 1923.
Okay.
He was born in Cleveland, Ohio, so we're back there again.
All right.
He's the youngest out of 3 sons, and his father, Richard Allen Sheppard, is a DO. He's a doctor.
Okay. Doctor of osteopathy.
Yes.
Osteopathy. So.
Exactly. Sam attended the Cleveland Heights High School. He was an excellent student.
Okay.
He was active in football, basketball, and track. He was the class president for 3 years.
Oh, my.
So he had things going on. He met his future wife in high school, Marilyn Reese.
Mm-hmm.
He was offered several athletic scholarships from small Ohio colleges.
Okay.
But he decided to follow his dad and older brothers and chose to pursue osteopathic medicine.
Mm-hmm.
He was enrolled at the Hanover College in Indiana, where he took his pre-osteopathic medical courses.
Mm-hmm.
He took supplemental courses at the Case Institute of Technology in Cleveland over the summer of 1943. And then he finished his medical education in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So we're both
He's been all over the place.
Kind of, yeah. So he went there, the Los Angeles Osteopathic School of Physicians and Surgeons, now known as University of California, Irvine.
Okay.
He received a doctorate in osteopathic medicine, so he's a DO and a medical degree. And he completed his internship and residency in neurosurgery at the Los Angeles County General Hospital.
Okay.
So, that's where he's finishing school and taking all of his, learning to be a doctor.
Bones and nerves along the back.
Exactly. Right. So on February 21st of 1945, he ended up marrying Marilyn Reese in Hollywood, California.
Well.
A few years later, they both moved back to Ohio to join his father's growing medical practice at the Bayview Hospital, and that's in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
So, there was a murder.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So, right now, he seems like a pretty good dude. I mean, he's done all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, on Saturday, July 3rd of 1954, Sam and Marilyn were entertaining neighbors at their lakefront home. Now, Cleveland is on the Lake Erie. It borders Lake Erie.
Right. Okay.
While watching the movie Strange Holiday, I did look that up. I did not recognize
What year is this? I'm sorry.
This is 1954.
54. I don't know what Strange Holiday is.
Yeah, the Strange Holiday, I think, is from the 40s. Sam fell asleep on the daybed in the living room while they were having friends over. Because, it was like a big party,
Sure.
whatever. And then Marilyn walked the neighbors out. Early in the morning on July 4th of 1954, Marilyn was bludgeoned to death in her bed with an unknown object. The bedroom was covered in blood splatter. There was drops of blood found throughout the house on the floor. Sam's wristwatch, keychain, and key and his fraternity ring from college appeared to have been stolen. They eventually.
But is he in bed?
Yeah, he's still asleep on that daybed in the living room. I assume they had been drinking. So they did end up finding all of his missing things, but they were in a canvas bag, like, behind the house. So that was very confusing. He claimed he was sleeping soundly on the daybed when he heard cries from his wife. He ran upstairs and he saw a white form, like somebody, he couldn't really see very well. He was looking and he sees something white standing there in the bedroom, and then all of a sudden he was knocked unconscious. When he awoke, he saw there was a person downstairs, and he chased the intruder out of the house down to the beach, because they were right on the the lake, where he fought with him, and then he was knocked unconscious again. At 5:40 a.m., Sam called a neighbor, pleading for them to come to his home. When the neighbor and neighbor's wife arrived, Sam was shirtless.
Okay, all right, back it up. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
All right, so he calls a neighbor, not the police.
I know, right?
And Sam also apparently has a head like an eggshell.
I know. He keeps getting knocked unconscious.
Clunk.
So, anyway, when the neighbor and neighbor's wife arrive, Sam is shirtless. His pants are wet with a blood stain on the knee. Then the authorities arrive, and Sam seems disoriented. The family dog was not heard barking during the time of this murder. 7-year-old son, Sam Reese Sheppard, was adjacent, so he's in the room next door, and he slept through the whole thing. The uncle of Chip, Richard, takes Chip from the home, and then Sam is taken to the Bayview Hospital, because he's injured.
Where you go for heads like eggshells.
Exactly. While under sedation and being treated for shock and neck injuries, he's visited and interrogated by the coroner, the coroner's investigator, local police chief, 2 Cleveland officers, and the Bay Village Police.
And the ghost of his dead wife points a finger? Yeah.
By mid-afternoon, the Cleveland officer, Schottke, it's Schottke, he looks at Sam and he's like, I think you killed your wife.
Well, officer, we don't know how to say it in I are on the same page for this.
Right?
Right.
So the house is sealed up and closed off until Sam is convicted. Next page. On July 7th of 1954, the funeral is held. The son, Chip, he doesn't attend. Well, he's only 7. Because of all the press coverage that's happening. On July 8th of 1954, headlines start appearing in the newspaper. Headline, testify now in death. Bay doctor is ordered. There's tons of articles like this. Many are untruths and inadmissible info printed in the next few months. July 9th, front page, Dr. Bulks at lie test. Sam does walk the office.
Dr. Bulks would be the worst name for a doctor ever. Hi, I'm Dr. Bulks.
Glad to meet you.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to just double check and see what my insurance will cover.
Right. Sam does end up walking through the officers through his house, so that he shows them exactly what happened. On July 10th, 1954, Sam gives voluntary formal statement to one of the county sheriffs. July 20th, so 10 days later, another front page. Someone is getting away with murder. And this is part...
Who could it be, Janet?
I have no idea! And this is part of an unabated editorial attack to get him arrested and convicted. So this is all coming from like the Cleveland newspaper.
Oh, wow.
Somebody at the Cleveland newspaper has
does not.
No, they're already pinning him guilty.
Mm-hmm.
July 21st, front page. Why no inquest? Do it now, Dr. Gerber. Dr. Gerber is the guy who investigates.
Okay.
What is he called? The one who checked out his wife.
The medical
Exactly.
like the medical coroner or what?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
July 22nd, 3 days after. Well, actually, no, a day after that whole headline comes out about "Do It Now, Dr. Gerber," there's a 3-day inquest starts at a local school gymnasium. On July 23rd, the Cleveland police formally take over the investigation from Bay Village.
Okay.
Bay Village is just outside of Cleveland. So.
All right, so they're like,
like,
hello, local sector, we're taking it from here.
Yeah, we're taking it from here. July 26th, headline, Police Captain Urges Sheppard's Arrest. July 28th, editorial, Why Don't Police Quiz Top Suspect? July 30th, editorial, Why Isn't Sam Sheppard in jail?
Oh,
like,
wow.
they're like in on it.
Completely, like, we're going to hold your feet to the fire until you do what.
Yeah, and it's like not even that
is
many
needed.
days have passed, and they're just
Right.
like on it, on and on it. So when that happens on the 30th, at 10 p.m., Sam is arrested and taken to City Hall. Newscasters, photographers, and reporters are there. Then, a little time passed. August 16th, 1954, the judge finds no evidence and releases Sam on bail. But then the next day, August 17th, the grand jury, under enormous pressure, Sam is arrested for murder.
Oh, well.
So, now we're on to the first trial.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning on October...
First trial.
There's a first trial.
All right, well, buckle up.
Right? Beginning on October 18th, 1954, the trial lasted 9 weeks. The investigation and trial had extensive publicity. Mm-hmm. Some papers and other media in Ohio were accused of bias against Sam, labeling him as the only viable suspect. The federal judge said, if ever there was a trial by a newspaper, this is the perfect example. And the most insidious example was the Cleveland Press. For some reason, that newspaper took upon itself the role of accuser, judge, and jury.
Ooh. Well, I mean, to be fair, he is the obvious one.
Yeah, but it's just like, they just keep
pushing that.
Right.
Well, everybody likes everything to be like tied up with a neat little bow.
And it never is.
Mm-hmm.
It never is. It appeared that the local media was influencing the investigators. Later, it was found that the jurors were contaminated by the press before and during the trial.
Oh, well, how's about that?
Yeah, so that's not helpful. The U.S. Supreme Court said the trial was surrounded by a carnival atmosphere.
Okay.
Because everybody was reporting on it. So during the first trial, there was 2 people who... Sam ended up basically talking about himself, but then there was this person who came up there and spoke. Her name was Susan Hayes.
Okay.
She was 24 years old. She was a lab tech at the Bayview Hospital where he was working for his dad. Had an affair with Sam.
Shocking.
Prosecution attempted to show this was the motive for the murder. The defense for Sam, his attorney, William Corrigan, argued he had injuries that would have not been able to be self-inflicted.
And as someone who has been 24 years old herself, I'm not saying I didn't ever bang the wrong dude.
The only blood found on Sam was the stain on his trousers. Also, 2 of Marilyn's teeth had been broken, possibly pulled from when she was biting someone to fight him off.
Oh,
and
wow.
Sam had no bite marks on him. Sam took the stand in his own defense. This is going to kind of a long thing here. I think that she cried or screamed my name once or twice, during which time I ran upstairs thinking that she might have been having a reaction similar to convulsions that she had in the early days of her pregnancy. Yes, she was pregnant.
Oh, freak.
I charged into our room and saw a form with a light garment. I believed at the time grappling with something or someone. During that short period, I could hear loud moans or groaning sounds and noises. I was struck down. It seemed like I was hit from behind somehow, but had grappled this individual in front, or generally in front of me. I was apparently knocked out. The next thing I knew, I was gathering my senses while coming to a sitting position next to the bed, my feet towards the hallway. I looked at my wife. I believe I took her pulse and felt she was gone. I believe that I thereafter instinctively or subconsciously ran into my youngster's room next door and somehow determined that he was all right. I am not sure how I determined this. After that, I thought that I heard a noise downstairs. Seemingly, it was the front eastern portion of the house, and that's where he ended up chasing the other person that he claimed he chased.
He's got a whole lot of details for somebody that doesn't know where he was and when he was or what he was doing, doesn't he?
Right.
I mean, I am, again, as we discussed in the last story, like, I am a cold, like, kind of
right?
dead-hearted person, but
He ran back downstairs and chased a bushy-haired intruder or form down to the beach, and then he was knocked out again. 2 witnesses did say they saw a bushy-haired... I know, right?
This is 3? 3 times?
No, only twice. One inside and one outside. 2 witnesses said they did see a bushy-haired man near the home on the day of the crime. The verdict, December 21st, 4 days of deliberation, found guilty of second-degree murder, life in prison.
Okay.
Then, I mean, right after this happened, so he's convicted, and this is 1954, 55? Not soon. Okay. January 7th, 1955, Sam's mother, Ethel, died of self-inflicted gunshot.
Oh.
11 days later, Sam's dad, Richard, died of a bleeding gastric ulcer and stomach cancer. So his parents just, like after this, died. He was able to attend both funerals, but he had to be in handcuffs.
Oh.
February 13th, 1963, so a few years later, Thomas Reese, Marilyn's father, died of suicide in an East Cleveland motel. But her mother had passed away back in 1929. Wow. So, all the parents gone.
Complete family, plagued by tragedy.
Exactly. June 6, 1966, because they keep trying to appeal, the Supreme Court vote 8-1 to strike down the murder conviction because of the circus atmosphere and that the original trial judge, now deceased, was biased. Didn't tell jury to ignore the media reports. And lastly, he spoke to a newspaper columnist shortly before the trial stating, well, he's guilty as hell. There's no question about it.
I'm not against what this person is saying. I mean, here's where you prove me wrong. And I'm like, oh. But for real, it looks for all the world, doesn't it?
Right. It does, very much. Sam was released in 1964. Oh, that must have been 66, whatever. 3 days after the release, he ended up marrying Arian, I cannot pronounce her last name. It's Tebbenjohannes. Tebbenjohannes, whatever.
Tebbenjohannes?
I guess. A German lady who was corresponding with him while he was in jail.
Oh, okay.
So they were married from 64 until 69.
Oh.
And then they just got divorced. And then in 66, there was a second trial. October 24th, 1966. Same case. Admitted weapon was never found. and they had nothing to tie Sam to the murder, technically. Sam nor Susan Hayes took the stand this time.
Okay.
After 12 hours of deliberating, November 16th, the verdict was not guilty. So he's off now.
Oh, wow. Completely.
Right, completely. Bailey, his lawyer, stated the blood splatter from someone who was came from somebody who was left-handed, and Sam was right-handed. So this is like one of the first cases where they were like examining how the
they dextered him.
Yeah, exactly. So Sam Sheppard, so he was not guilty on November 16th, and then on December 7th of 1966, and I swear I tried to look for this, I couldn't find it, Sam Sheppard appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Are you kidding me?
This is the second one I've come across where
Okay.
has somebody who's, I don't know.
Alexa, how many murderers did Johnny Carson have on The Tonight Show?
Good evening, Tracey. According to an Alexa Answers contributor, 17 men.
17?!
Well, that's job security for us, baby. It's, well, not job security. It's pod security.
Pod security.
I'm so sorry.
17?
I'm going to need a beat for this. Okay, well, this also, granted, she also told me to take my dog to cycling, so we never can tell. But
thank you, Alexa. After the acquittal, Sam, he worked with a ghostwriter by the name of Bill Levy, who wrote Endure and Conquer, which presented
Alexa, how many ghosts have written books?
Which presented his side of the case. However, Bill Levy, the ghostwriter, felt conflicted as he felt Sam was actually guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Sam married a third time, Colleen Strickland, and her father, George Strickland, a professional wrestler.
All right. Wait, what was his... do we know his...
I don't know his name.
Dang.
I have to look that up. Trained him to be a wrestler because he was out of the doctor business. Nobody was going to take him back. I think he tried to do a couple of doctor things, and he ended up operating on someone, and they died the next day, and they're like, "Nope, you're out.
Oh,
you
wow.
You out." So when he was trained by George Strickland, Sam debuted on August of 1969 at the age of 45 as a wrestler. Guess what his name was?
George Strickland?
No, Sam's name.
Oh, Sam. Oh, fuck. I don't know. I wish I knew. And I just saw Iron Claw. I should know this.
Sam's new wrestling name was Killer Sam Sheppard.
Wait!
Why? I don't know. He had about 40 matches until about April of 1970.
Tell me who you are without telling me who you are.
Exactly. Reportedly, he had been drinking as much as...
You don't say.
As much as 2/5 of liquor a day, which is 1.5 liters of liquor a day. This is Sam. So Sam is on the sauce, okay?
So he's in 1.5, so that's a
That's
big bottle.
1.5 liters.
Woof. That's a lot.
Yeah. April 6, 1970, they found Sam dead in his home in Columbus, Ohio.
What happened?
Official cause of death, Nernick, ENCEPHALOPATHY, which is brain damage associated with advanced alcoholism.
Right.
So he just basically drank himself to death. Is a really long word.
Encephalopathy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but yes, I know what you mean. It's so encephalitis is when when the brain swells because of a birth trauma.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
if
like
you drink too much.
encephalopathy.
Right.
Where, like, basically, you drink too much and your brain blows up.
So after his death, there was DNA testing was done on his body. His body was exhumed in 1997 by his son Chip to clear his father's name. This absolved Sam of the murder.
Oh.
1999, Alan Davis, a friend of Sam, sued the state of Ohio for wrongful imprisonment. Because he was in prison for 10 years.
Right.
Maryland was also exhumed to determine the father of a child, but the fetus was just too decomposed. They couldn't get anything from it. Now there was another possible suspect that they figured out later. During the civil trial, there was a guy by the name of Richard Erbeling.
Who?
He was Richard Erbeling.
Who the fuck is Richard Erbeling?
He was an occasional handyman and window washer for their house.
Okay.
And he was most likely the killer. Richard confessed to detectives in 1959 about various burglaries and 2 rings he had stolen from Maryland back in 1959. A civil trial showed there was a presence of blood of someone who was not Sam or Marilyn.
Oh my goodness.
At the scene of the crime. Throughout Richard's life, he was associated with a woman who had suspicious deaths. He was also convicted of murdering an elderly lady by the name of Ethel May Durkin in 1984. Her sisters also died under suspicious circumstances.
Okay.
The one died of being beaten to death. And another fell down the stairs, quote unquote.
Oops.
2 people Richard spoke to, somebody that he was in prison and somebody else. He confided in 2 different people that he was actually the one who killed Marilyn.
Was there an owl involved in the rat? No, I'm just.
And then Richard died in 1998 while he was in prison for the death of Ethel.
Oh, wow.
So now there are some pop culture references. Apparently, The Fugitive, the TV show, and the movie were inspired from this story.
I am the terrible friend that that has never seen anything. So I have never actually seen the TV show or
I've never seen the TV
the
show,
movie,
but
or
the movie is
The
fun.
Fugitive.
It's Richard. I mean, it's what's his name? Oh my God. Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford plays the fugitive.
Ryder is constantly saying, "I can't believe it! You've never seen that." Like, that's what it's like to date me. I'm a good cook, but I haven't ever seen anything.
But that's my story.
Thank you so much.
Wasn't
that was
that
an
a crazy
amazing story.
ride?
There's so many turns.
So many turns.
I don't even know if I fully believe the way
I don't either. I don't think it's kind of like, did he? Maybe he was somebody was involved with them. Who knows?
Right.
No
It just
idea.
Occam's razor doesn't hold here. So I don't know.
I don't know either. It's so crazy.
Woof.
Well, I think this is where we should take a break.
We absolutely
We need a break.
should.
Oh my God.
I'm going to need some fresh air, and then we'll come back and talk about what's nice.
We'll talk about what's nice. If you like being a Muddy Buddy, here are some additional ways you can support the podcast. We have merch available, and a link in our storefront is available in our show notes. You can also support us through our Patreon to help offset the cost of producing and publishing the show. And of course, we would love it if you could leave us a 5-star rating and a kind review. Now let's return to What's Nice.
Welcome back. We're here to talk about what's nice.
What's nice?
All right. Well, since we are talking about Edward Lewis's vision of University City being a city for the arts and for culture and for education, I am going to talk about the Center of Creative Arts, which is COCA.
Yay!
St.
We
Louis.
love COCA.
I know. So COCA is an organization that is a nonprofit that offers sliding scale tuition
Nice.
And they also offer gallery spaces and then classes for people that want to do anything kind of almost involving the arts. You can go, you can have dance there, you can go and see visual arts there.
Right.
We have gone to see plays there. I've
watched
seen
movies
performances,
there.
movies.
Yes.
Exactly. So it is, as far as I can tell, pretty much exactly what Edward Lewis would have envisioned.
Yes.
Cities, or a city function, space for the arts.
Right.
And that they say art for everyone, enriching lives and building community through the arts for more than 35 years.
Right, yeah.
So anything it is that you want to learn to do or make or...
Yeah, the Burning
create?
Man community did they had a big art thing there recently, like in the past 2 months.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
That's fantastic. So I know that I don't have a whole lot of information other than... boy, what is happening there is ever changing.
Always.
Always. And also, well, Edward and Mabel both really loved pottery, and so they have, they have art displays that are all about pottery. They have camps for young artisans. You can go and see a show. You can go and take a class.
Right.
And if you're here in St. Louis, go and check out what's going on at Coca.
Yeah, I believe I have a friend who does, he teaches improv there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And if you're here in St. Louis and you have something that you want to do, you have big Edward Lewis ideas, give it a shot.
Right, absolutely.
My goodness. It's 2024. The world is in chaos. You want to learn how to paint? You want to learn how to dance?
You should do it. Absolutely.
Go for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Enjoy the arts. Dream big. Be like Edward Lewis.
Right.
And that is my what's nice.
Nice. Awesome. Mine's pretty short too, but that's okay. Because our stories are
It's
long.
all right.
It's
Short
all
and sweet.
So, Cleveland, Ohio, where it all started.
It's hard to find something nice there.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum.
Oh, okay. I have to admit, I've never been there, even though my father is from Cleveland.
Oh, really?
Or was from Cleveland.
Yeah, I've been to the outside of it. I've never been inside. It was established, they started to come up with the idea of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in April of 20th of 1983. Mm-hmm. And then the building, when it was built, after it was dedicated on September 1st of 1995. It sits right on Lake Erie. So where you park, you can see the lake right there.
Right.
They have a museum with all sorts of rock and roll history. They have live music and events. They also have a cafe and a store. Mm-hmm. Exhibits include items that are on display, films, video, interactive kiosks, reading material, and of course, music. Mm-hmm. Because it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Of course.
It's a very neat building. I will definitely show some pictures on the Facebook page, but I've been there a couple of times just to take pictures. I've never actually gone inside.
We will put it on our ever-growing list of all of the
right.
the places we need to go see. So.
But yeah, so that's what's nice in Cleveland is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I would go and see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum.
Sure.
Oh, and I also heard too, wasn't it? It was recently that Dolly Parton.
Yes, she was
nominated and said oh no, I'm not
a rock star. So what does she do? She creates her own rock album. Well, if you want to abduct me, I guess I got to do an album.
We don't deserve her.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
But I guess we do deserve Cleveland.
Nothing against Cleveland.
That being said, that was kind of a mean thing to say. However, we have had a couple of good stories and a good time, and we really thank you, Muddy Buddies, for listening to us. And so, since we don't want to leave on like a nasty, bitchy note like Tracey just left,
What do we say?
we say,
Stay Midwest nice.
we stay Midwest nice.